Hello and welcome to Piano Shack with me, Woody. This arrived on my doorstep the other day. It's the M Audio Hammer 88 and today we'll unbox it and see how it lives up to my expectations for an 88 note weighted MIDI keyboard controller. Before we get stuck into the unboxing and the review, let's go over my requirements, the attributes I look for when choosing a weighted MIDI controller keyboard. Let me just show you what's going on outside. It's been some crazy weather today. Let me get this open. Yes, indeed. Can you believe it? In 2 days, it is the first day of spring. But look at it out here. Can you believe this was the very same spot where I was doing my Wave Station synth demonstration out in the garden that lovely summer's evening? Here are the features that are important to me. Compact is the first one. I don't want this one to be unnecessarily large. I want it to be as compact as possible so it doesn't take much space on my desk. And also that makes it easier to carry around and transport. In this case, weight is good. Not only does it signify that the instrument is built with some degree of quality, but it stops it from sliding around on my desk or on my keyboard stand. It's nice to get a bit of inertia so that you can dig into the keyboard without it slipping around. Now, I don't use the full span of the 88 note keyboard, and I'd actually prefer a 76 note range just to make it more compact. But it's difficult to find 76 note controllers, so usually you end up with 88 anyway. That is the standard. I've always preferred conventional pitch bend and modulation wheels. No pitch bend stick for me, thanks, or a strange joystick. I do like to have a selection of assignable knobs, sliders and buttons that I can use to control the parameters in my DAW or software instrument, but I don't want to go overboard here. It can be a bit bewildering, so just a couple is enough for me. Aftertouch is a really cool feature, less so in a piano weighted keyboard, but still very nice to have. A good mechanical keyboard action is of course very important. You want something with the right amount of weight that isn't too heavy but allows you to play expressively. An acoustically quiet keyboard action is important to me because I don't want my microphone to pick up noises from the keyboard action like the clunks and the clanks. It may not matter so much for you, but even so, you don't want nasty noises leaking through your headphones or overpowering your monitors. The size of the keys is very important, that they're the correct width and length, and also the position of the hinge and the pivot so that you can play chords with your fingers on any position on the keys. I'll demonstrate that for you later. I want some basic master control features like being able to choose my MIDI channel and configure splits and layers. And to do that, I'm looking for a really straightforward UI without having to dive through too many menus, something very easy to use there. At the minimum, I need a sustain and expression pedal input. USB output, of course, is standard on all controllers these days, but if it also has the old school round 5-pin DIN MIDI output, then that's a bonus. It has to be USB bus powered, but most controllers are these days. Class compliant means that I want plug and play drivers so I don't have to install additional third-party software just to get it to work. Attractive design, of course, is important in the studio. And I believe that all keyboards and controllers should have a music stand. After all, a real piano does. All right, let's get on with the unboxing. Oh, I've lost my knife now. I had everything put... There it is. Is that a music stand? I think it might be. Manual and USB cable. Okay, let's put this thing on a decent stand instead of this glass table. Nope, still not spring. I found it! I think that's metal. Just a second. Yep, all right, there we go. Well done, M Audio, thank you. Plastic, metal top panel, way to go. Okay, let's see if I can get by without using my lav mic, as I'll be moving around a bit today. Hopefully the audio isn't too bad through the camera's inbuilt microphones there. So, first impressions then, very positive. This thing is built really well. I'm very pleased with the feel of it, the fit and the finish, and it just looks really, really smart, doesn't it? But here's what we're going to do. Let's go through my list of requirements one more time, and we'll try and see how well this ticks all of the boxes for me. And obviously we'll plug it in and have a quick play on the piano as well. The first criteria I had was compact and no wasted space. And this thing, I think, delivers on that aspect. It's very, very shallow there in this dimension, which is great. That means it'll fit on my desk and there's still room for the monitor and the keyboard. So that's fabulous. Not too deep. It's about what you need to get the hammer action in there. And you couldn't make this any more compact because I've got a feeling that these keys extend back quite a way into the casing. Regarding the mod pitch wheels, they are over there on the left. Now I actually prefer to have them up here and to remove this part of the panel, but that's probably not possible here because they would interfere with the mechanism of the piano keyboard. So quite okay with having it over there. There's no wasted space whatsoever. This thing is as compact as it can be, so that's great. Obviously this is 88 notes. I prefer 76 myself. This wasn't available in 76, so we'll have to take the 88. I'm fine with that too. What about the weight and the heft of this instrument? I think it's fabulous. It's heavy. We'll weigh it perhaps a bit later on. I'm definitely not going to slide around as I dig into this on the keyboard stand. Yeah, couldn't be better. I'm really happy with that. Next on the list was build quality, and you guys that watch my channel know I'm really, really picky about this. But I'm very happy to see that M Audio haven't skimped here at all as far as I can see. We have a nice metal panel that wraps all the way around the back there. There's certainly no creaking or flexing or horrible bendy plastic here. This thing, I can comfortably say, feels like a pro instrument, absolutely. Over my expectations, because this is not one of the more expensive keyboard controllers either. So, top marks there, M Audio. And I think that the base of this instrument at the bottom panel is a big chunk of wood, which also contributes to its feeling of stability. We have conventional pitch bend and mod wheels. They feel okay. They've got like a rubberized surface to them. Quite stiff. That's okay. 2 assignable buttons and 1 slider control over there. Next on the list was assignable knobs, buttons and sliders. Obviously you are not getting very much here at all in that respect, but I was aware of that going in, and M Audio do market this as a piano type controller and nothing else. And I'm guessing that any knobs and sliders up here would probably have interfered with the action, so I understand why they did that. I suppose you could buy some additional controller with some sliders, maybe a Korg Nano controller or something, and rest it up here. This is kind of flat there, so you can sit things on top of it, which is nice. Next on the list was Aftertouch, and you know, I don't actually know if this has Aftertouch or not, so let's go check out the specs. Okay, let's check the specs here over on M-Audio's website and see what they say about it themselves. There's a picture of it with the music stand. Awesome. And here's the software bundle that you get as well. I'm really happy to see you get both Pro Tools and Ableton Live Lite. I've never seen a manufacturer giving you both. That's really awesome. Both of those are fabulous DAWs to get you up and running. I see also you get some software packages, 88, Mini Grand, Velvet, DB33. I think they're organ and piano emulations. If you're interested in me demonstrating those, let me know in the comments. For the professional, semi-pro players or students, I don't fit in any of those categories. Yeah, let's whiz on through these. You can read this yourself if you want. It's pretty standard stuff. Check the specs. Multiple keyboard zones for layering, splits and 4-note chords, whatever that is, with a single key press. Okay, I didn't see any ability to do this on the keyboard itself, so probably you need the software package to do that. Okay, there you go. No drivers required. Supports plug and play connectivity to your Mac or PC. Great. Let's check the specs. Apparently there is no aftertouch here. These are just velocity sensitive weighted keys. But look at the weight there. That is pretty substantial. 38.5 pounds, which is about 20 kilograms. This is no lightweight instrument. The action we'll come back to in a second. It does feel rather nice at the moment. Quite a soft, spongy feel, I suppose you could say. Not in a bad way though. But we'll hook it up to a piano in a second and find out for sure. That's the only way you really know, is when you play a real piano instrument with it. Is it acoustically quiet? Yes, it is. It's quieter than my Nord Electro, that's for sure. I'd say for a hammer action keyboard, this thing is very quiet. Next we had the size and the feeling of the keys, the quality and the materials, etc. Let's take a closer look. I mean, they're totally plastic, that's for sure. And some sort of sharpish edges here, which I noticed immediately here. If you're doing slides or anything like that, be a little bit careful, because these corners are quite sharp. I would have preferred if they were a little bit more rounded if I'm going to find something to complain about here. But the size of them is absolutely perfect. The length is good, the width is good, and we have pretty nice feeling hinges as well. I've got a feeling that these are hinged way back here somewhere, because I can quite easily play way up on the keyboard, which is what you tend to do if you're playing any more advanced chords. Playing classical music or jazz, your fingers will be working up here. So yeah, apart from the slightly sharp feeling edges, the keys are fine. As for the master controller features, I'm not sure at the moment what this thing can do. There is no menu system or function keys or anything here, so I assume you have to do everything via the software. But by now we should have checked the specs together and we'll know about that for sure. Let's review what inputs this thing has. Okay, there you can see the full range. It's got everything I would need. Sustain expression pedal, for example. MIDI out, that's good. And the USB MIDI and DC power if you want to use it. That FS2, not sure what that is for. An additional foot switch, I suppose that means. So as far as inputs, outputs go, it's got everything that I need. So what about the Cosmetic Design then? What do you guys think? Personally, I think it's very, very elegant. I love this rounded back that they've done here. Very reminiscent of my old Korg M1, wouldn't you agree? So yeah, I would say this is a rather handsome controller. No unnecessary fancy design features, which is what you want in your piano controller. If I'm going to nitpick, and this applies to all instruments, why do I need to be reminded with big text, a big label when I'm playing, what keyboard I'm actually playing? The panel would look a lot better without it. But all keyboard manufacturers do this, and I don't really know why. I guess it's similar to vehicle manufacturers putting the badge and their logo in the middle of the steering wheel to remind you what car you're driving. And we haven't connected it up yet because I couldn't get it out of the packaging, but there are the holes there for the Music stand. That is fantastic. Thank you, M Audio. Let's plug it into the PC then and see if we need to install any special drivers to get it to work. And I'll play a little bit of piano for you. Whoa, I've got the USB cable the right way round, first time. It doesn't very often happen. Now, this is the point in the video where my Lumix camera decided to corrupt a 15-minute video that I'd shot. So, we're going to go over to voiceover mode now and B-roll because I don't really want to shoot it all over again. But you didn't miss much really. What happened is that I sat down in front of the piano after plugging it into the PC. We were able to verify that it was indeed plug and play class compliant drivers. I didn't need to install anything from M Audio. It was recognized in Reaper, and we launched an instance of PianoTech, which is a virtual piano VST instrument. I then played a bit of boogie woogie, some jazz and some honky tonk to evaluate the action. And my initial impression was that it was rather good. I liked it. It wasn't fatiguing to play and it had the right amount of resistance when you were playing, I think, although I would say that it was on the more sluggish, slow side of the keyboard response spectrum. It was on par with my old Roland FA08 and my Nord piano, both of which also had quite sluggish actions. Perhaps all actions are sluggish and it's just me that hasn't learned to adapt to them. But you probably wouldn't want to play very fast synth runs or drum patterns on this, but it's not intended to do that either. We didn't evaluate the software today, but if anybody's interested, we can do that in a separate video. So by way of a summary then, my first impressions of this controller were rather positive and above my expectations. It does have a very high quality feel, the action is good and it's very, very well built. And for the price, I think M Audio have done a great job. Talking of price, this one is currently let's call it $400, shall we, at Sweetwater, for example. That's pretty good value actually for an 88-note controller. That's all for today then. I'll feature this instrument on another couple of videos coming up in the future. And if you want to ask me any specific questions, then do it as soon as possible because this is going back to M Audio in 60 days. Yeah, I just wanted to be clear about that. This is not something that's been given to me. It's on loan, then I'm sending it back. So thank you very much to M Audio for helping to make this video possible. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Cheerio. Still not spring.